Still got a whole ways to go for this point, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, we are actually getting pretty close until whenever we get into the forms of the final level in the whole entire game, so I'm sure that we'll save that up and doing at some point on this Friday. So, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the one and only Maxi here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars while we're playing through Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we have basically managed to able to 100% through everything in terms of Pianta Village, and also we did done the first half of the forms of Sirena Beach. And despite I did manage to able to actually just failed once during the course of that particular the obstacle challenge in Casino Delfino Casino thing. So because of that though, despite that, we did that pretty good, especially noticeable that so far anyway for Sirena Beach. So that way we are able to get ourselves 4 Shine Sprites and 15 blue coins so far. So naturally speaking, for this particular video, is the fact that we're going to be able to hit on to the second half for the likes of Sirena Beach, and hopefully we should be able to complete this world before before we get into the final level in the game. So, here we go, on to the next mission right here, which appears to be King Boo down below. So, of course, much like episode 4, basically though is the fact that we need to able to go into the Casino Delfino section, except rather than trying to deal with the actual slot machines again, well, at least it wasn't until whenever we get around into the forms of, one of those secret Shine Sprites that we need to obtain for red coin challenges and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess that makes it totally obvious for the sake of time. And, hopefully we'll try to deal with the forms of the next boss fight along the way, which I'm sure that most people already know what I'm gonna say for this point, so... But anyway, those, let's go ahead and grab the blue coin from the get-go. So because of that, though, excuse me. So that way we can able to actually just keep our account for our remainings of those blue coins that we've got left. So, anyway, so we ended up inside the actual, the thing itself. So because of that though, we ended up trying to able to deal with the forms of those purple marked tiles, so just in case you can try to ground pound them, then you can able to actually stop the actual wheel thing to stop rotating. So because of that though, yeah, we meet again King Boo after the events of the original version of the game, especially noticeable that at least after the events of Luigi's Mansion, because after all that Luigi did manage to take care of the forms of King Boo, while King Boo is trying to control Bowser's body from the likes of the forms of Luigi's Mansion. Well, generally speaking, because I say that, because obviously that, since that if you ever played the final boss in, from the likes of Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube or the 3DS remake, that, usually relatively speaking is the fact that it usually, yeah, King Boo is actually a part of the Bowser's controlling body. So because of that though, even though it's hard to explain about this one form or another, because I will have to admit though right away that it has been about 2 days ago since I actually last touched this, as far as, you know, trying to commentate on certain things, but I will try to mention more briefly details about that until whenever we're able to get on with the forms of the 100 coin Shine Sprite throughout the whole game. In fact, relatively speaking, until whenever we get to that point, that'll be the true definition of the final time we're definitely gonna do with the 100 coin Shine Sprite, because after we're done with that, well, no need to able to worry about the forms of collecting 100 coins scenario until Super Mario Galaxy for the sake of the forms of the purple coin or the purple comet, as far as that's been concerned with. So anyway, so yeah, you probably get the idea of how King Boo plays out in this particular game, even though much like the forms of the regular Boos themselves, that he still looks really weird in this game, especially noticeable with the ice looks. So because of that though, maybe it's because, well, I'm pretty much used to at this point, I'm pretty much used to with the modern version of King Boo's design, based off from the next level games, Luigi's Mansion duology games and stuff like that, Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3, and also applies to the forms of the actual Halloween costume, or the actual, the Halloween counterpart of the Halloween tour, I should say, from the likes of King Boo from Luigi's Mansion, counterpart of himself in Mario Kart Tour. Well, that's mainly because of how the fact that, well, they have not reused this particular variation of King Boo ever since. But either way, though, that's as far as I can usually try and describe it or something like that. So of course, we still need to utilize the forms of those casino-like slots machines, so that way we can able to actually aim for the fruit icons, usually all 3 of them most likely. And then next you notice the fact that it's your chance to able to just, well, try to keep on. Well, first off, you need to able to toss the chili pepper, so just in case you're able to actually get burn his tongue and stuff like that. And then while he does that though, then you can just simply toss in any other fruit right at its head, or to be more specifically, right at King Boo himself. So because of that though, usually 3 times, or 3 hits to be more specific, then you'll be good to go. So because of that though, although there were a few times though you will come across into some random events based off from a slot machine, like enemies usually pops up and all that stuff. So yeah, you get the idea about that. So all in all, I found that boss fight still easy as pie. So because of that, Episode 6, Scrumbling Sirena Beach. So because of that though, like I said before, much like the forms of Episode 1, like I already stated this earlier, that we could have to able to clean up the entirety of Sirena Beach again, except now we have to do it with a time limit for about 3 minutes. So because of that though, the best advice I can think of is the fact that just trying to jump and just keep pressing the R button while jumping, so just in case you can able to do a really good squirt burst kind of stuff. So because of that though, that way you can able to do with this mission a lot more easier and simple and self-explanatory at the same time. So yeah, you get the idea about that solution. So and also I found out is the fact that the actual electric goop layout before you start the mission is actually entirely related to the Boo shape design. So because of that though, that since that we pretty much almost technically done with all these Boos in mind, because, well, as far as I'm aware, although first of all, let me just go ahead and trying to do some more stunts like this, and hopefully that should be good to go for the most part, aside from the fact that I might actually missing some of those other electric goops around here, but hopefully though we're able to try to get rid of the stuff in no time. So but anyway though, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is the fact that today's day is of course the 6th of July today, in this case in 2022 today, so naturally speaking not much else is going on at this moment, apart from the fact that there's one thing that I suppose that I forgot to mention about, especially noticeable that Ray the Flying Squirrel hasn't mentioned about this either, for the sake of the forms of not only for this particular Super Mario Sunshine on Super Mario 3D All-Stars version of the game, but also SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Let's Play, is the fact that, well, I'll talk more about that in a second later, because obviously I need to able to just try to find the last few spots of the actual electric goop, and good thing that the time is up because we pretty much clean up everything. So because of that though, but before we get the next Shine Sprite, which pretty much leads us now on to 89 at this rate, and oh boy, we got ourselves more extra lives. Although this only triggers if you somehow managed able to talk to them again after the events of the first episode mission. So because of that though, I think it should be all when it comes to the fact that we can able to actually just get some more extra lives every time we ever replay this particular mission, or in this case in episode 1 if you're trying to deal with the forms of the electrical manta ray and stuff like that. So anyway, let's talk to this the owner of the hotel, and sure enough we're able to get our Shine Sprite. Or alternatively though, you can also manage able to use the water barrels if you wanted to, but honestly though, I found that kind of slow. So because of that though, there we go. We've managed to reach for about 89 Shine Sprites so far, looking good so far. And it seems that we're pretty much almost nearly at the end for the actual world itself. So yeah, I can't believe we're actually going to be doing this for very quicker amount of time if possible. So anyways, let's head back in here to do the next mission. Episode 7, Shadow Mario Checks In. So I think this might actually be the last time we're going to be dealing with Shadow Mario in this game, because after we're dealing with the forms of the 7th, or technically speaking like, well, usually as far as I like to call it, the 7th time that we're going to be doing with the Shadow Mario selections of missions throughout the whole game. Basically though is the fact that, well, obviously that we're able to immediately actually unlock the final level in the game, in addition to the forms of the cinematic scene where, well, I'm sure that most people already know what I'm gonna say, so either way though, yeah, let's just hurry up and go in and trying to deal with Shadow Mario again, but this time trying to deal with him in the actual hotel. So because of that though, much like in, you know, Peanut Park, that we have to able to actually entering into one of those segments of the whole entire world. So anyways, so once again, few squirts on him, and then again, this will be the last time for doing this. So yeah, you're so annoying. Yeah, because other than the fact that you're more likely the doppelganger of myself, or specifically Mario, so there we go, we're now on to 90 Shine Sprite, so kudos to that. And I think we're almost nearly at the end for the sake of those blue coin collectathon as well. And this is what happens right there if you somehow manage to deal with Shadow Mario within every single episode 7 missions. Basically though, it's the fact that Shadow Mario just managed able to think that he's still not done yet. And because of that though, the final world has been opened up. And of course, the Delfino Plaza has been completely flooded. So meaning about the fact that you can't able to actually access to other worlds throughout the game, except one. Because that's a good thing I did manage to able to actually do this route. Because obviously it just makes everything else in this entire process of this Let's Play a lot more faster and quick. So because of that, onwards back onto the Sirena Beach again. So, and hopefully we'll try to able to collect the final 4 of those Shine Sprites on that world. So episode 8, red coins in the hotel. So, yeah, I guess for the majority of the time, for the last few Shine Sprites on that world, it's going to be most likely takes place in the hotel itself. So anyway though, let's get this thing to it, and of course that we need to able to, although before we able to actually deal with the forms of the red coins on this particular mission, basically though is the fact that I need to take care of those blue coins I need to collect, because after all, there are quite a few graffiti stuff they now added in, such as for instance, there is actually the X symbol right there, and also there's going to be the triangle one here and there as well, so either way though, we'll try to able to investigate all that stuff though, so either way though. But yeah, that's not much else I can honestly try to talk about, because I'm pretty sure that Ray the Flying Squirrel has already mentioned about a lot of things. Well, at least in ever since in, you know what I mean, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, so because of that though, yeah, you get the idea for that suggestion for that point, so. Anyway, so I believe we only got about 20 more of those blue coins left, so in this case though, I think, as far as from my tally speculations by that point, I think we are down to, I will classify for saying we only got about 8 blue coins left in Sirena Beach, and then eventually whenever we get into the final world that we have to collect about, you know what I mean, 10 more blue coins, and hopefully that will be the last one on Delfino Plaza somewhere, but I'm sure that we'll find out until, yet again, like I said before, until specifically this Friday, because, well, I cannot even believe that we're actually getting towards the end of the second game of this entire compilation, because either way though, I would imagine about the fact that we can possibly able to actually finish this entirety of, you know, Super Mario 3D All-Stars Let's Play by that time for the rest of the year, mainly due to the forms of likely, I would classify the same by the end of 2022, mind you, that we're still on the second half of the year so far, so relatively speaking, there's not much else to ask for, so anyways, at least we got that, and we've only got 6 more blue coins left, so at least we are getting pretty close towards for that particular ending portion of this entire world so far. So anyways, let's go ahead and deal with this triangular graffiti scratchy thing right there. So hopefully we would be able to get another blue coin, which is down there. So, and another thing I would classify for mentioning about this as well, that's well, I cannot even believe by saying this, is the fact that, well, I believe, like we've already suggested before, or like we said this before, I should say, that Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on the Nintendo 3DS will be officially become, you know what I mean, 10 years old this month, and especially noticeable about the fact that I will remember back in the past that, despite the fact that we did technically mention that conversation back in the forms of in 2012, despite the fact that that particular Let's Play of Mario Party 7, specifically with that crappy camera in mind, that that particular playthrough is no longer there, but at least luckily we already did done the redo Let's Play of that game, since this year. So because of that though, at least ever since about 6 months ago, well, almost 6 months ago, ever since in March, well, I don't know, it has been a long while since I actually did manage to discuss upon something related to calendar related stuff. So anywho, and usually because I fondly remembered about the fact that with Cap King 74 in mind, that basically though is the fact that I remember back in the day that he did manage able to got himself not only Mario Tennis Open for the 3DS, despite the fact that he did play it for brief moments, but ultimately speaking he no longer has that game anymore, mainly because he wasn't too comfortable with all these Mario Sports titles, apart from Mario Sports Mix, for what I've understandable purpose of noting for, and also the rest of the trilogy of the Wii games of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series, and as far as I'm aware, that he hasn't purchased any other like Mario Sports titles since then, because as far as I'm aware, I was expecting if he was trying to able to get like something different, mainly for like trying out Mario Tennis for the first time, and especially noticeable with the Mario Golf games, although he used to have Mario Golf for the N64, but of course he doesn't seem to have that anymore because, well, I just have no idea. And maybe also with Mario Baseball as well, and even Mario Football games for that matter as well, but ultimately speaking though, he always attempted to prefer playing, let's just say, Mario Sports Mix for the sake of the forms of an easier control kind of Mario Sports game than the likes of Mario Slam Basketball for the DS. Well, to be more specifically with the basketball mode in mind, and also applies to the forms of the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series, specifically the Wii trilogy of games, the only exception being on the Wii U, and the 3DS ones, and the Switch version, which is to be specifically Tokyo 2020 edition, so because of that, though, yeah, there's not much else to say, so, also, though, I remember that he managed able to got himself, probably is my least favorite Pokemon movie ever, which appears to be Pokemon the Movie 7, Destiny Deoxys. I don't know what it is. It's because of the actual, like, not only do I still find Toy to be the most annoying character of all time, at least in my opinion, but also that the colors of the actual, the visuals department is a bit washed out in my opinion, and especially noticeable, it doesn't look nearly as great as I thought it was, but that's probably just me anyway though. Maybe I'll just keep on nitpicking for the most part, and yeah, you get the idea about that, so anyway, so I think we'll take a break on the forms of some other like gaming related discussions for now on, until whatever when we you know, get back into the forms of more stuff for, I don't know what you would call it, because, then again, like I said before, it has been a very long time since I actually did manage to able to discuss on something, new and all that stuff, though, well, apart from the fact that, well, ever since about 2 days ago, that some Americans out there, that they've already managed to celebrate the Independence Day recently, so, fast worth bringing it up, so, anyways, let's go ahead and spray that little, fake paper with the boo and everything, so I don't think there's anything else in there. And I get the feeling that with those boxes that we can able to grab pounds, that I get the feeling there might be a blue coin in there. So because of that though, I think there's one in here. Or maybe this one? How's that? So there we go, so at least we found one, and the last blue coin on Sirena Beach, which is over there, so even then, we've collected every single blue coins in this entire world, so only 11 to go. So yeah, we're actually getting pretty close. So now let's get on to the actual mission itself, so let's activate that red switch, and that way we can able to let those red coins pop up in the entire hotel, and we've only got 5 minutes to do this, so, and if the time runs out, unfortunately though, you're able to not only get yourselves time over, but also you get kicked out of the level and you have to restart the entire mission again. So, because I honestly do remember back in the day that whenever I first played this on the GameCube version of the game, that I was literally so close to able to try to find the every single like red coins as much as I could, but unfortunately though I was a little bit too slow for my skills for that department, and it's also a good thing too that as you noticed that we already did manage to take care of the forms of other things to activate it. So because of that though, mainly due to the fact that we somehow oh, this is the wrong way, because I think the red coin in that particular other side of those toilets rooms is right over there. So yeah, you get the idea about that. So now we just need to able to backtrack for a little bit, so just in case we can able to go to the different parts of some other rooms. So, oh jeez, I keep on hooking into the actual walls themselves, but I wasn't exactly meant to. But thankfully though, we did manage to able to caught up to it. So anyway, so it is also worth noting for the sake of time as well, that well, not only do I usually find, you know, Tori as a character itself to be, I'm not gonna lie, pretty obnoxious and annoying, at least in my opinion, like I said, but also is the fact that, and also the colors is being washed out, at least to me anyway, and on top of all that stuff though, the music itself, especially noticeable with the Side of Paradise song, I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit corny and cheesy in my opinion, especially noticeable, it's almost like a, you know, think of like the My Little Pony theme, but a bit more annoying. But at least I'll give My Little Pony Friendship is Magic theme credit for is the fact that that particular theme song is really damn catchy. So because of that though, despite I didn't listen to it all that much though, mainly because, well, I usually every time whenever when the show pops up, whenever when the intros pop up, basically though, I always attempt to able to put in like some Mario Party title theme music in the background, like for instance the one in Mario Party 7, one from Mario Party DS, 9, Island Tour, 10, Star Rush, the Top 100, and Super Mario Party, but except for the fact that in Season 9, I always attempt to able to put on Kingdom Hearts 3 title screen music with Dearly Beloved, so, but that's probably just me. Alright, so let's head back in there again to do with the, what else? The Secret Shine Sprites time. So because of that though, I think this will be actually be the last time we're going to be able to collect those Secret Shine Sprites. So because of that though, yeah, we're getting pretty close. So in this case though, let's head back on to episode 2 for the sake of the forms of trying to do with that obstacle challenge again, except, you know, just trying to grab those red coins, so, but I digress. And also, as far as I'm aware, that's by that time for this month anyway though, is the fact that this month we're able to also mark its 10th anniversary for the sake of the one of those 3DS models, which appears to be the Nintendo 3DS XL, specifically the normal variation, not the new ones, because the new ones doesn't exist until 2015. So because of that though, yeah, I can't believe those two related things from the Nintendo 3DS will be a decade old, which that'll be also applies on New Super Mario Bros. 2 until next month, well, technically speaking on the English version as far as I'm concerned, whilst the Japanese version is going to be a decade old and during this month, so at least if I'm correct or not, but either way though, because it has been, you know, I'm not gonna lie, a pretty long time actually since I actually last played New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the Nintendo 3DS. I think the last time I played that game was actually trying to able to test out the DLC Coin Rush packs for the sake of the forms of back in 2019, just in time before when New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch being released. So yeah, I can't believe it's been about like 3 years ago since I actually last touched that game. So because of that though, I don't know exactly sure if I was gonna able to try to attempt to able to do a redo Let's Play of New Super Mario Bros. 2, because as far as I'm aware, much like in Super Mario 3D Land, the camera quality is way off, and also the amount of views point is actually like a small margin. So because of that though, let me know in the comments. Although we don't need to necessarily try to do a redo Let's Play of Mario Kart 7, because the quality should be good enough as it is. And on top of all that stuff though is the fact that with Mario Party the Top 100, don't need to necessarily try to do that redo Let's Play. And I don't know about Star Rush though, because, well, the views counter is alright, and especially noticeable about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that the quality itself looks decent. But I don't know about Island Tour either. Oh jeez, I almost accidentally managed to obtain the already collected Shine Sprite right next to me. But luckily though, I've already got the Red Coin Challenge Shine Sprite on that particular Episode 2 mission. So because of that though, I don't have to necessarily try to able to restart from the beginning portion of that mission again, so It's kind of a shame. I can't skip this sequence because I have to force to watch this every single time, assuming if I manage to finish some of my missions from Sirena Beach. So because of that, though, we have to deal with it, I'm afraid. So, oh well, no big deal. But at least we haven't got that far of it left now, for the sake of the forms of this entire Sirena Beach, before we move on to the final world in the game, plus with the extra world that we can probably revisit it into, which I'm sure most people already know what I'm gonna say, so... Anyways, let's head back onto episode 4, for the sake of the secret of Casino Delfino, for obvious reasons, for the sake of the forms of the red coin challenge, and on top of all that stuff, though, is the fact that we can obtain another Shine Sprite, so... I think this will be the definition of the final time we're able to come across into obstacles like this, so because of that, though, yeah, it's getting pretty close, don't you think? So, I suppose I should probably mention about this as well, I think. Speaking of the forms of those obstacle environments, or the obstacle course challenges for the actual environment takes place, basically though, is the fact that one thing I totally forgot to mention about, at least ever since in the Record Harbor portion of the game, that's basically though, you know the mission called, the blooper surfing safari mission in Record Harbor? It turns out about the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, it obviously takes place in the sewers kind of stuff. But as soon as I found out, on the forms of the actual, if you're trying to activate the first person view, when the sandbox area has been seen. Basically though, the actual background, assuming if we're able to actually like, I don't know if I usually try to explain this well enough, but relatively speaking, what happens is that if you go into that mission, if the player stands next to a wall with Mario's back facing it and activates the first person view, the sandbox for the area can be seen, and which is the exact same background used in a certain secret levels, such as, let's just say, the Hillside Cave or the Dawn Bit Sandcastle secret, and heck, even with the forms of the Dirty Lake secret as well, and even the forms of the Shell secret in Nuki Bay. So, yeah, and the music in that area also the same one as they used for one of those secret levels. So, I did not know that at first, because I think I looked it up on Mario Wikipedia recently. So, yeah, that was actually a nice little secret that we were able to actually discover through, because, well, I don't know if anyone else does that though, although personally speaking I didn't do that either, mainly because I'm usually focusing on the mission itself. Although, mind you though, is the fact that one thing I also want to mention about the forms of Blooper Surfing Safari mission, that basically though, I think I haven't mentioned about it, but I'm going to say this again, if for those who have not even noticed what I'm going to say. Basically though, if you manage able to beat that particular mission for about, let's just say, over 45 seconds, I believe you get kicked out. So because of that though, you don't want to let that happen, so... Plus, you have to deal with the forms of some of these loading screens. Well, thankfully, on the Switch version, that basically does the fact that there aren't any loading screens to be found. So, at least that's a good thing. So, anyways, let's go down to this green pipe as we go, and, well, take care of the forms of the red coin challenge. For, we're almost technically done with the forms of those red coin challenges as far as I'm aware, because as far as I'm aware, we're only down to 2 left, such as, for instance, one we're doing right now, and another one until for later. So because of that, though, yeah, we're actually getting pretty close, so... Jeez, I've only got about 42 lives, or technically 43, because like I said, 0 counts as the last chance, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and make it to that particular red coin on top there, so, oh jeez, I somehow missed it. And we only got 1 minute to do this, so... It's kind of surprising that this particular obstacle course is a bit short, so, well, despite the fact that it can be pretty tricky sometimes. But anyway, let's just do a continuous somersault if I can make it. Oh, nice. Nicely done for my, not only the somersault, but also, managed able to actually just, use Flood or the hover nozzle, so hopefully we should able to do just that. And there we go, 93 Shine Sprites. So I think, relatively speaking, that, yeah, I think we're pretty much gonna have to do one more Shine Sprite as it is, which appears to be by the forms of the 100 coin Shine Sprite in, of course, the Sirena Beach. So either way though, yeah, I just can't skip it at all. It's unskippable, I'm telling you. It's so unskippable. Next to the forms of the actual cutscenes of the game itself too, so... I don't know if you technically weren't able to go back into Peanut Park if you wanted to, but I think it's not possible, I don't think. But, at least I did manage to try that anyway. So, anyways, let's head back into Sirena Beach for the final time. And because of that, though, like I said, we're going to be doing with the last 100 coin Shine Sprite. And the recommendable mission for that is episode 3, because obviously since that Yoshi is going to be able to have the ability to, you know what I mean, eat up with the forms of those sleeping boos on that particular, the attic cellar and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's as far as I can usually think about it for the sake of time. So anyway though, another thing I want to explain about this as well, that, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but, basically though, that, I had that dog for a very long time, called, Lulu, which she was actually, the cutest dog in the world, and because of that though, we now had her for 10 years now, so because of that though, I can't even believe it's been a decade ago, and the same applies to forms of certain DVDs that I've managed to got, even though I've technically already mentioned about that ever since in one of those parts in this particular playthrough, so I'm gonna say this again. There's been a very long time since I actually now have Chicken Run on DVD, and a good thing that particular film is now getting a sequel until next year, called, you know, Chicken Run Dawn of the Nuggets, so I'm very excited to see how that's gonna turn out for next year. Especially noticeable it's gonna be on exclusive to Netflix, so, because it's pretty obvious by that point, because of the still going on around the world situation again, but I digress. And also it's been about a decade ago since I actually got myself Pokemon the Movie 11, Giratina and the Sky Warrior, which appears to be, obviously contains not only, I would say Dialga as one of those legendary Pokemon, and also Giratina. So because of that though, yeah, I think that's what I was going to be thinking of anyway, so and also it features Shaman as in, you know, land form and sky form, because as far as I'm aware that she is pretty adorable with land form, but either way though, that some people don't usually like her as much as the forms of some telepathy talking Pokemon as much, but either way though, I don't mind her too much still, so... And of course, like I said before, there's been about a decade ago since I actually managed to be able to have Hercules on DVD, because, well, as far as I suppose, I think I forgot to mention about this ever since and during the course of the entire Let's Play of this so far too, that recently, I'm pretty sure that I've already mentioned about that in one of those videos of this, and that is the fact that yes, that film of Hercules, the Disney animated classic, is officially now 25 years old in America, so I don't think there's any point mentioning about that again, because I'm sure I've already mentioned about that already, so yeah. And, yeah, man, time flies. And, I suppose the final discussion I would like to classify for something, and that is something to do with the iPhone, which, usually, relatively speaking, I don't have my, upgrade still, because I'm still pretty much stuck with iPhone 8, but that's okay, because iPhone 8 is cool and all that stuff. So, I digress. So, you guys even remember from the likes of the forms of, for those who've ever, experiencing for 2007, well, you know the fact that the first Apple phone, which they did manage to release, called iPhone 1, or iPhone Original, or iPhone 2G, in this case the iPhone first generation, that particular model, the very first iPhone that's ever existed, officially, I think it's now 15 years old, since back in June 2007, so yeah, it's kind of crazy, honestly, especially noticeable about the fact that every once in a while we have some more improvements thanks to forms of the newly released, or the most recent release of certain smartphone models, which is of course iPhone 13 and all that stuff though, and also some more chips they managed able to increase the actual upgrade, and even more storage upgrades, and even some camera improvements. But looking back on it though, especially noticeable when I recently looked back on the forms of that, you know, iPhone first generation, jeez, it's gone way too old. Like, as far as I'm aware, the only thing they obviously do have for iPhone first generation is that, well, I'm pretty certain that basically though is the fact that they obviously include not only 4GB but also 8GB and 16GB storage flash memory. So because of that though, yeah, I can't believe it's gone crazy with all this time flies all of a sudden. And of course, they do manage to have the Bluetooth 2.0, so I guess that's that, I suppose. So, yeah, it looks like the iPhone has been around for 15 years now, ever since in the first generation lineup. So, I mean, usually, whenever I double check on the back, on the photo for the likes of the iPhone, the first iPhone that's ever existed, basically though, it gets this really weird black thing on the back. So, yeah, it's kind of weird to look back on it now, like I said this before, because, well, it's pretty obvious because of the fact that we're pretty much used to with modern, you know, upgrades on iPhones now. So because of that though, because I'm still used to with iPhone 8, and even especially noticeable that most people out there are pretty much already used to with, you know, the most recent iPhone 13. So because of that though, I'm sure there might be a possibility about the fact the matter is though, maybe potentially that iPhone 14 will exist, specifically for the sake of this year, or iPhone 15 if they decide to skip over 14, because obviously this year will mark the 15th anniversary of the Apple that managed able to release certain iPhones. So, yeah. That's as far as I can usually try to say about this, honestly. So, in fact, my first ever iPhone experience was actually by the forms of iPhone 5, specifically the original version of iPhone 5. And it does work most of the time, except for that miserable battery life at first, mainly because someone else managed to use that for such a long amount of time. And on top of all that stuff, though, I don't have as much you know, memory, and also the CPU was actually a lot slower than I thought it was. And, I suppose that's pretty much about it. And also the camera itself does have this very annoying crystal thing on the middle portion of the camera eye. So because of that though, I'll fondly remembered about that. And then later on, I've got myself iPhone 6, in this case 6S Plus or something like that, which does manage to give me a bigger screen and stuff like that. And then later on, I've managed to downgrade it for a bit in iPhone 6, the original model. Not only does it give me the forms of a, not only the lowest amount of gigabyte storage of memory, but also is the fact that whenever I play certain highly advanced games, mainly for example Mario Kart Tour, the game automatically crashes every time when I finish the race or start the race, and it's just annoying and inconsistent. But thankfully though, in 2021 and onwards, I'm pretty much still stuck with my iPhone 8, specifically the normal regular version of iPhone 8, and I'm gonna say, it's worth an upgrade. So because of that though, yeah, I don't need to able to worry about the forms of, you know, constant game crashes most of the time, specifically Mario Kart Tour's case, so yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. In fact, let me know in the comments below, for the question of the day, what was your absolute favorite model for the sake of the forms of the iPhone so far, after like 15 years since the first iPhone that first came out in 2007? Because I'd like to hear your thoughts, because I would say that easily my favorite one will probably have to be by the forms of, well, ironically enough, the exact same model just managed to recently came out recently, which is of course, you know exactly what I'm gonna say, that is the forms of iPhone 13, because of the actual cool design and all that stuff. So I think that's why I get the feeling for that, for the sake of trying to mention about that. So I'd like to hear your thoughts of what's your favorite model for iPhones. So either way though, it's a shame we can't do the actual victory fanfare for Yoshi. We'll have to deal with it all by ourselves. So, anyway, I think we're pretty much gonna have to end things off here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars while we're playing through Super Mario Sunshine. That is the fact that we're also able to take care of the final level in the game, which is... Corona Mountain. I'll see you guys on Friday. Later, fellas.